we're just going to go right into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. I have literally one of my favorite guests with me today. I have with me Zuni Elder Greg Yawakia. I wrote here for his bio. Zuni Elder Greg Yawakia carries one of the most ancient surviving oral lineages in North America. As a cultural knowledge keeper, healer, and messenger of the old ways, Greg shares rarely spoken Zuni teachings about prophecy cycles, earth changes, star visitors, and humanity's current spiritual crossroads. His work bridges indigenous star knowledge with modern ufology, revealing a paranormal timeline, where we came from, where we're heading, and where the signs are activating in real time. Greg has been warning for years that the markers of the prophecy area would begin to show themselves, and now many believe the signs are finally here. Today, Greg joins the Typical Skeptic podcast to decode ancient prophecy systems, the cosmic human connection, and the direct relevance to any 3i Atlas interstellar controversy, timeline merging, and humanity's next evolutionary step. And with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show. Greg, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm doing great. Kind of tired from my journey out southwest, but I made it back. In the midst of all that, airline controversy of pilots going. What do you call them? Airlines, cutting off their flights and all this. I made it back, and the only delay I had was in Chicago. It was about a good half-hour delay, but other than that, everything was normal, and I had a good flight coming back and going out there. So, but anyway, as I was saying, I guess I could go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. No, I was saying, where did you go to a reservation?
I went to several reservations. So while I was out there, just to catch up with everybody, and not as far as family or anything like that, but just meeting with some elders and trying to I guess work on what is going on right now. And one of the things that we were working on was we talked about the Hopi prophecy of changing from an animal cycle into the human cycle. We talked a lot about that, and we talked about the impact of the 3i Atlas Interstellar, what it was doing, and so I just want to start out by saying that what I learned out there and what we were discussing was basically I want to bring up today just on this podcast, because we discussed a lot. This could be a 24/7 podcast for the next 3 days if I had to catch everything up to date on what's going on. But I gave you the outline. The title of prophecy. Is it here? And I believe this is the main topic I want to talk about today, because everybody is noticing the changes. So 3i Atlas Interstellar and the transition from animal cycle to human cycle is what I want to talk about today. And to me, is this a prophecy, or what is it? To a lot of people. So I'm gonna break a lot of things down, like I did with the elders, and really discuss it, because first of all, I just want to say is that let us be open-minded to explore the concept of prophecy and whether it's manifesting in today's world or not. Because a lot of people say too many people are spreading all kinds of things about the 3i Atlas, about what's going on in the world. They think it's the end of the world. Sometimes people are saying it's the changing of the world. Some people are saying, all kinds of things. It's a test in the world or whatever, but, the elders are not worried about all that, because The elders analyzed the role of Three Eye Atlas Interstellar as a metaphor or model in understanding our current epic by observing the 3D dimension changes in human race and spiritual life, as well as climate and technology. Those are the three things that those are the things that we mainly talked about because we are seeing a lot of changes, and by saying that, you know with this three-eye atlas opening up, the elders talked about this three-eye atlas about 3 years ago. I remember the first time I heard about it, but again, they were not aware of what it was. All they said was there is going to be an object that's going to enter the solar system, and it's going to create a lot of uh, uproar in human race because we're getting out of the animal cycle, going into the human cycle. And you know with that in mind, when it was confirmed that there is an interstellar entering our solar system, the elder said, okay, we just need to sit back and watch what happens because we are beyond the past of trying to share the animal cycle. And what they meant by that is that it's too late to try to change people in survival mode. If anything, and we saw it. Look at the chaos that it created when food stamps, they said people are not going to get their food stamps.
Yeah,
Look at the
people went nuts.
chaos it created. Yeah, people went nuts. And all this, people saying, well, I'm not going to go to work if I'm not going to get paid. Well, again, that gave the government an opportunity to say, okay, if you're not an essential worker, or if you are an essential worker and you're going to act that way about not going to work because you're not getting paid while you are a service to people, maybe you're not taking your job seriously. Maybe you're just taking your job as a whatever, you know? And so these things really opened up a lot of our minds, and the elders just said, sit back and enjoy the ride because it's going to get crazy. And when they say that, because they know, I would say about, like in Zuni and Hopi and Navajo and all that, I would say 40%, that's low. 40% of the population of all these tribes that I mentioned are prepared. The 60%, the younger generation, are not. And when this is what scares the elders, but because if the older generation know how to survive and the younger generation doesn't, it's gonna eliminate the younger generation and the older generation. If they try to come to the if the younger generation try to come to the older generation to survive, they may not be enough for them to survive on. We don't know how it's going to impact us, but we're seeing it. I mean, what would happen? What would have happened if that emergency or that food stamps didn't go through, or the budget didn't go through, and we're going to the holiday season? What would have happened? You heard about. I've seen on social media. A lot of people said, well, I'm going to survive. I'll just break into the grocery stores, steal the food, or I'm going to do. Well, is that the answer to survival? No, no, it's not. The answer is like I heard a little 12-year-old kid tell me, why are we worried about food stamps when food is free if you break a little sweat.
That's a good point. We can
And
grow
that's
our own food. And
yeah,
seeds are cheap, right? Seeds are real cheap.
yeah. Seeds are real cheap, and you can continue to produce by saving the seeds, eating some, saving it, eating some, saving it. I mean, we are not self sufficient enough to survive. We're too dependent on who's putting it out. So that's one of the things, you know, because elders discuss the philosophical and the practical implications of moving from the animal cycle into the human cycle, because the human cycle is already here. It is already here. Look at the AI. But people are so dependent on AI, and I'm gonna touch up on that when I get back into the human cycle, animal cycle. But first, again, I just want to continue on and say, what is prophecy? You know, historically and culturally perspectives. What is that prophecy? And historically, it's written in the Bible where Jesus said, you know, even I do not know my second coming. But yet, in social media, everybody already they had a countdown of the tribulation. They had a countdown, and there's over 1 million people watching it. Are they waiting for the tribulation to happen? I mean, the elders would say, "Well, if it happens, it happens. I know how to survive." Look at the Great Flood in history. The Great Flood. The Bible said nobody survived, but lately said in our oral history, Zuni survived because we went up on our, spiritual mountain, and we survived up on top of that mountain. The floodwaters didn't come all the way up to the top. There's other tribes, Hopi, and all these other tribes survived the Great Flood and the Great Ice Age. The natives survived because they knew how to be self sufficient. And that's the part of the animal cycle. They know how to survive. But now with this human cycle, you know, how many, I mean, analyze yourself, Rob. Are you ready to survive? If anything catastrophic happened in Pittsburgh?
Absolutely not. No, I'm not. I wish I wish I was, but I'm not. You know.
But see, these are the things that the elders were concerned about 20, 30 years ago. When I first got into the eldership program, this was the discussion that they had. Our younger generation are not going to survive. They will learn to survive in the human world, but not in animal cycle, not in the animal world. Because, you know, it's sad when I go back home, nobody's farming, nobody's planting, maybe just a handful. But those are the people that's going to survive because they have plenty of vegetables and seeds and stuff like that in storage, you know. And as we go along with this, you know, again, Jesus said, even I don't know when I'm going to come. But all these social media already know, that when Jesus is coming. So bless their heart, you know. That's all I can say. Because elders are sharing cultural perspective by sharing the knowledge of survival. We have to share that knowledge of survival, not only in food wise, fire wise, or water wise, but also our physical self healing. How do we work on self healing, and that is basically our spiritual life, because AI is taking away our spiritual life. Because kids nowadays, they're not looking up; they're looking down at their phones, their iPads, whatever. They're not looking. They're not caring about what's going on up there. They're just worried about who's going to win the game, or who they're talking to, or whatever on that little iPad or whatever. But what if that gets wiped out? What if Wi-Fi gets wiped out? we've experienced that. Wi-Fi outages. We've experienced cellular outages. What if it gets wiped out all the way? You know, you won't have a podcast, and what you going to do next? You know, but
Greg, I saw a meme the other day. A meme, those memes, and the meme, it showed like these kids from the '80s in a box. Remember, like we used to just have like simple stuff to play with when we were kids. And it said, "I didn't have an Xbox when I grew up. All we had was a box," and it was like literally a cardboard box, and the kids were inside the cardboard box because what that cardboard box was that people think, oh, it's just a cardboard box, but it forced us to use our imagination. Like that cardboard box could turn into a fort. It could turn into, anything.
A slide or a sled, whatever. Yeah. I mean, even I saw a post the other day where it says, "I survived drinking out of a water hose." Yeah, I remember drinking out of a water hose, and then you pass it on to the next person. They drink it out. I mean, we passed it. We didn't have no cups or glasses or bottles to fill it up, and no, we just drank it straight out of the water hose. And but they don't do that anymore. Kids. I mean, and it's the I blame the finger to us adults, because if we got kids and we can't control them, that's your fault. Because you're letting other things create their imagination, not themselves, but other things. And like you said, a cardboard box would go a long way when you was a kid. Boy, you thought you had a toy of your life when you had a cardboard box.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the prophecy about elders.
Just real quick, does this tie into the Hopi prophecy of the blue kachina and the red kachina at all, or is this is that different? Would you say the 3-eye atlas stuff?
The 3-eye atlas. Well, again, the Hopi blue kachina is water north.
Yeah,
and the red kachina. There's so many different versions of how they interpret that and all this kind of stuff, but actually, it is a Merkaba where they connect. They create a Merkaba, which is red being fire, the first 3 chakras, the first 3 on your medicine wheel, the first 3 on your, native pure consciousness, the first 3 on the conscious level. It's all about raising your vibration. When you get to that heart transformation, when you are transformed into the higher spiritual realm, that's the esoteric chakras. Blue kachina is the esoteric chakras, because we came from above and we came here on earth, and we work on earth to raise our vibration so we can go back up, ascend back up, or ascension. And again, we are getting taken away from us. But things are changing so fast that we can't keep up with them. We cannot keep up. A regular person cannot keep up with what all the changes are right now. And, when I say can't keep up with it, I say with the elders, sit back and watch. Sit back and watch. Don't become a part of it. That's all when we say when you're in the 4D realm and you can see what's going on down in the 3D, and you have to go down, say like you have to go shopping to go get a little bit of groceries. You can go through that 3D realm, but don't become a part of it. Don't let them suck you into it. Because they're doing everything imaginable to suck you into it. So, the 3-eye interstellar, the native's perspective, the elder's perspective of it, the way we talked about it, is that yes, it was noted 3 years ago. I remember they first brought it up There's going to be an object that's going to come through our solar system. What it's going to do is it's going to create a hole, a portal, to where other things are going to come in with it. Or it's going to leave that hole up there. It's going to create a big enough hole to where other things are going to enter. And that 3-eye atlas has left. But look at the other interstellar that's here that's going to be closer to Earth. Not Mars or anything, but closer to Earth. And the other interesting thing that they came up with. Because where are they getting this information? Okay, let me step back a little bit. The elders get their information by various tribes who have the Galaxy Fraternity Lodge. Those are the stargazers. Those are the beings from above. These are the galaxy fraternities. They study and keep contact with the galaxy. One of the case in point is that back home in my native town, there was a lot of UFO activity going on. People got scared, so they called upon the galaxy fraternity. They made contact with those ships that were flying around. When they contact, he said, "Don't worry, we're here to protect you." And they said, "Here to protect us?" He said, "Yeah, because something is coming up. We know what it is, but you're not ready for it." And that's when that 3-eye atlas came into the picture. And they said, okay, so they told the people, don't worry about them. They're here because they're protecting. And so the people accepted it. I mean, I had so many people, young people videotaping on their phone, sending it to me like, look what I saw. What is this? What is this? And I said, don't worry about it. Evidently, your energy is high enough to where they're coming to you and making their presence known to you. So you don't worry about anything. They're here to protect you. They're here to watch over you. Whether they're archangels, whether they're space beings, whomever they are, they're here to protect you of what's to come. Don't worry, you're okay. So, Hopi has a galaxy fraternity. Zuni has one. Even the Navajo has stargazers, and all this kind of stuff. All the different tribes. So it's just not, one tribe saying this is it. No, it's all the tribe. And we all get together. We just, and we all understand that we are one tribe. Not because we're Hopi, Zuni, now, we all are native. It's just that, again, we try to get separated. Oh, you stay over here. This is Zuni land. Stay over there. That's Navajo land. Stay over here. This is Hopi land. No, it doesn't matter. But when we all come together, we come as one. So, the interstellar, the concept, a project, or a symbol. How do we look at it? Well, we look at it as it is what it is. That's the only way I could explain with the elders. It is what it is. A lot of people jump on that social media. Oh, it's got lights on it. It's a spaceship. It's this. It's that. Well, if that's what resonates with you, fine. We'll accept that. But then others say, well, it's a comment. It's a comment, but that comment doesn't have a tail. Well, okay. Well, but again, if you accept it as a comment, we'll agree with you. We're not going to say, no, it's not. If it's a ship, it's a ship. We're not going to argue with you saying, no, it's not. But again, when they say it is what it is, it's here to make a marking. It's here to bring us something. And when we see it as it bringing us something, we just have to accept it. So the connection between the interstellar and the human destiny is a lot. because, again, is it a prophecy? Is it the mark of the tribulation or what? But the destiny of human cycle is basically those that aren't prepared is it's the end. What do I do to? It's the end. How do I survive? How do I do that? Well, we're here to try to teach you to survive, to be self sufficient. That's how you survive, to be self sufficient, you know? And if everybody could just learn to become self sufficient, we won't have to worry about these food stamps going out of money, running out of money, you know? We don't have to worry about stuff like that. But in today's world, you know, it was an eye opener to see, you know, all the hoopla and all the jumping and all the panic that it created, you know. But the elder said, just sit back and watch. Not because we're not doing anything about it, it's because it's got to take its toll. It's got to roll with it. You know, don't try to stop it. Don't try to block it. Just let it do its thing. Just like the Interstellar. You know, it says they're going to do. It's going to do this, this, this. Okay, let it do it. Let it do its thing. And the biggest impact that I felt personally was from the electromagnetic storms. You know, when he hit that 5.2 on the geomagnetic storm, you know, level, boy, I felt it because the elder said it's either going to activate you or drain you out. And I was drained out to where I could not. But I didn't try to fight that being tired. I just took a nap. I don't care if it's normally I don't take a nap during the day, but if it's the middle of the day and I'm tired, I know what's happening, so I just not fight it, just take a nap,
Yeah.
wake up,
That's a good
and
point.
do it again. You know, but so now in the animal cycle, going from the animal cycle to the human cycle, the animal cycle is basically survival. You know, as I one of the examples I gave is you take an animal out in the woods, drop it off, you know, it's gonna survive. But you take a human out in the woods and drop them off, can they survive? You know, or are they going to freeze to death, or are they going to go of starvation, or what? You know, or you know, or they can't fend for themselves. The animal can, you know, but what about us? We have all the equipment out there to survive, but we don't know how to. We don't know how to survive out there, you know, and so you know, the animal cycle is survival. Survival from what? From extinction. And the nature's order. And I said, what do you mean nature's order? Well, you got Mother Nature, Mother Earth has everything out there for us to survival. But do we know how to use it? It's like I always talk about the food. People ask me, one of the first questions they ask me is, do we know what's safe to eat? How do you know what's safe to eat out there? And I always tell them, I said, well, do they take your allergy tests? You know, if a doctor comes up to wants to see if you're allergic to eggs, where does he check it at? Well, he puts a little bit of eggs inside your elbow. And if he reacts, yep, you're allergic to eggs. You're allergic to this, yep. And that's how it is with anything. If you want to know if it's safe to eat, ready cross. If it reacts, don't eat it. If it doesn't react, it's safe to eat. You know? What about building a fire? Get a branch, go to the root of the tree, you know, you'll start a fire. Or find you a flint, Know how to learn how to throw that flint. You know, survival, build a fire. How do you make string? Well, you got a lot of willows out there with bark on it. Take those barks off and make it a string and tie things together and make you a little hut. Survive with that. Until you start bringing in food. You got a lot of weapons out there that you can use. Transforming to the human cycle is your consciousness, collaboration, and social evolution. And I want to hit that a little bit on that because I've experienced a couple of things. In my website, in my YouTube channel, I did a video on a little AI machine coming up to me and scanning my body, scanning me. But when it was scanning me, I knew what he was doing. So what I do, I got me some sunglasses and I put them on so it won't get in my pupils. And he stood there and just started scanning me. And when he couldn't read my pupils, he did not move until I mentally told him, look, a human mind created you. So this human mind is stronger than you. So get out of my way. I told it mentally. And guess what? Turned around, took off from me. The second time he tried to come and do that, I said, oh, no, not you again. The AI came and started scanning me because I could feel that scanning. When you're in the spiritual realm, you can feel the evasion of energy. And when it did that, I got my shopping cart and I rammed it. That little AI machine locked up. He didn't know what to do. They're only told to do what they're supposed to do. But if you do something out of the ordinary with them, they freeze up and lock up because they don't know how to analyze. They may be smart enough to come and do this. But if you throw something out of the way, out of the ordinary, and how I remember that is because, they're not taught to analyze. That's why a lot of these, driverless AI driving delivery people and giving you rides and all, they get in accidents because if somebody hits them, they don't know how to analyze or react to where it causes a commotion. And so when an AI comes up to you, throw something at them. And the thing that I tell people, it's good to use it as a tool. However, it's not going to give you the answers for spiritual questions because they don't have a spirit. AI, like, I'm going to step on some toes, but some of these spiritual people, they say, oh, ChatGPT is helping me analyze this. ChatGPT is... Let me ask you a question. Who created ChatGPT? And how do you know that person that created it, yeah, is smart and everything, but how do you know that person did not put their input in there? Because only that ChatGPT will tell you what it is programmed to tell you. It won't analyze. It's just programmed to tell you. And so in the spiritual realm, if you use it in the spiritual realm, it can't answer. It can't give you the answers that you want or that you need to help people. So this animal cycle, survival, I believe, is down to 30% of people that are going to survive in this population if anything catastrophic was to happen. And you admit it, you can't survive, but, we got a lot of dry goods stored up at this house, and those dry goods are seeds, so we can replant them. You can plant them 24/7, inside or whatever. Get you a greenhouse, plant 24/7, 365 days a year. You'll have fresh food, but if you don't know how to plan it, if you don't know how to cook it. We're so used to fast food cooking. People say, why? I mean, why is home cooked meals taste better and feel better and all this than a fast food place? Well, fast food place, first of all, if you look at the processed meat of how they're creating it, that's not real meat, you know,
Yeah.
versus, a lot of things. And even in the vegetables, look at all the chemicals they're putting in there to help it grow fast. And then when scientists analyzes it, half the stuff is going to kill you. If you, but, I'm not going to say what is good, what is bad. You know, you just do your own study, read the labels, as I tell people, read the labels. You know, current events and technologies that may signal of a new era today. And those current, you know, events, like I said about again, with the budget not longest budget thing crisis ever, what did it do? It weed out a lot of things. It weed out a lot of dependency on that food stamps. And it weed out, I don't know, because the new laws now coming into effect where they have to do 20-hour volunteer work or 20 hours job just to keep their benefits. And they had to stop everything to start again. And that's what's happening. Those people may be still getting, but come New Year, they're going to get a notice to say, hey, you need to reapply. And when you reapply, you know, there's going to be a lot of watch on you to make sure it's honest. You know, Basically, the other thing I like to say is that, philosophical insights is humanity living out of ancient prophecy. That's what, the ancient prophecies is basically telling us what is going to happen. It's not fear mongering about what's going to happen, but it's basically going to tell you, are you self sufficient enough to survive? Do you have enough material to survive? Because, just channeling to the old times of Zuni before the Spanish contact and around Zuni people with the other tribes, we did a lot of trading. We did a lot of, bartering of our vegetables. People in California, natives from California will come or we go over there. They got a lot of fruit that they grow. We'll get a bunch of them and bring it out here to Zuni. Where we take a lot of vegetables, take it over there, trade it with them. And on the other side note of that is that, yes, we were healthy back then. But why are we not healthy right now? And I've seen a big change in people going back into herbal medicine of changes. If you're diabetic, do this, do this, do this, and drink it. And then they finally realized. I asked my doctor one time too, my endocrinologist. I said, "Why are you just continuing to give me metformin, or insulin and all that when you're not trying to eliminate what's causing this diabetes?" And he said, "Do you know what's causing it?" I said, "Yeah. According to what I understand, is a parasite living in my pancreas. If we could get rid of that parasite, my pancreas will continue to develop, the insulin that it needs to control this body." He says, he just looked at me, shook his head, says, "I'm not going to answer that because of one thing. There's too much money going to that medication that they're prescribing.
Yeah.
Metformin is not cheap. The insulin shots are not cheap. Trulicity is what? 2,200, 2,200 a month just to get
Yeah.
that. And all this. Yeah, somebody's making money. So they're not trying to heal. They're just trying to, patch. But now what the elders have, basically are saying also is that let's not only teach them how to survive physically, but spiritually. And, let's teach them how to be self-sufficient. And let's teach them a lot of self-healing. And so I said, okay, I've been a native practitioner most of my life, since the age of 7. Now I'm here to share the knowledge. And one of the things that I'm coming up with, I don't know if y'all can read that.
Yeah, the teachings in the ascension and other knowledge, hidden knowledge. Is that your book, Craig, or is this?
No. A good friend of mine wrote this book. He was a neurologist, neurosurgeon, top of the people. I mean, and that title changed my ways about, nothing is secret. We all have this gift. Nothing is secret. I mean, the teachings of ascension, raising your vibration. When you learn how to raise your vibration, this hidden knowledge that people talk about, you realize that you have that gift, and it will be revealed to you about how to use this gift. And my first workshop on this is going to be, let's see, January 17th and 18th. It's going to be a weekend. It's going to be for 2 days. That's just going to be part 1. And when people come, they'll be paired up to where I'm going to do hands-on training, really teach you of your gifts, how to experience it. The reason why you're going to be partnered up is that you're going to do it on your partner, and turn around, your partner is going to do it on you. And you will see the receiving end and the giving end. And as I tell people, practice makes you perfect. And then the second part of it is going to be on January 31st to February 1st. It's a weekend again. And it's going to be held here in Pennsylvania. But I got the agenda out. I'm going to post it on One Nation Tribal Alliance webpage of the class and everything, all the information needed to sign up. And I'm not going to say this is the real deal, because this is the one that, I'm willing to share, because there's no secrecy in healing. All it is utilizing your vibration and your connection. And as I tell people, I said, I'm just a vessel when I do healing, whether it's psychic surgery or not. I had a lot of people. One lady that I did psychic surgery for, when I don't feel it until when I open my hand in front of the people, because I don't move my hand. And when I open my hand, I had one lady see it come out of my hand and was so surprised that he's asking me, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? I said, I don't know. Over 55 years of experience doing this, I can't pinpoint how it happened. So, yeah, put the one on One Nation Tribal Alliance 2. So, Rob.
Yeah,
because that's where they're going.
Is that on Facebook, you mean?
It's my website.
Okay.
It's my website to sign.
Let me see if
Yeah,
I can
it's
find
my
it.
website to it's onenationtravelalliance.com, and it's a website where starting probably next week people can sign up for it. Because and I'm gonna start shouting it out, and again because with AI coming into play. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's the website. Yeah, yeah. So with AI coming up and all this, the people that use AI in the spiritual realm, I don't feel comfortable with, because again, AI is created by a human mind, and spiritual healing comes from your connection to the Creator and Mother Earth. That's the spiritual part, and AI doesn't have any spiritual, you know, ways. But I know people I argue this. I don't care how they look at it. AI does not have a spirit. It's created by the human mind, and it only does what the human tells it to. And who knows? You know, we've been known that in the past, things that we are taught, is what the agenda of their teachings are, trying to pull us away from our spiritual life. So I know you probably didn't open the chat, so unless you have any questions, Rob,
Yeah,
this is what this is just
let's see
one
if
of the
anybody in the
things.
chat is. Yeah, sorry. Does anybody in the chat have any questions for Greg while we're here? And yeah, this was a great talk, Greg. Yeah. Yeah. So when will people? When you said people will be able to sign up for this class next week? About?
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna try to have it up by Wednesday about the whole the agenda and everything like that.
Okay.
Where to sign up and everything like that, and where it's gonna be and everything. You know, because again, this is hands on, no holds barred. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just waiting to see if anybody has any questions. It'd be cool to get a couple good questions in. And then if nobody has any questions, I guess we'll finish up. But I mean, usually they have some good questions. So we'll see what are you traveling more? Are you gonna be traveling or more as the time goes? Or you plan anything?
well, in the future, I'm gonna push that Galaxy tour again. I want to do some more Galaxy tour again, but probably more so this spring and summer, more than probably in late summer, because late summer we got pretty good with the monsoon season, and didn't really have a good opportunity to check out the stars, or go out hiking and just taking our time hiking. We just had like a small window to go hike, but I know a lot of people like to take their time hiking because you know when we get to El Moro, it's a good 2.5 mile hike, but it's got so much information on there on that rock and what you experience that people want to take their time. So when I do that, I'm gonna make it a more like a 4 day, 3 day, 3 night event.
Yeah.
And so and then one of them I'm gonna probably try to do a longer version, because that longer version I really want to take them to, like, um well, even though with this 3 day one they get to talk to some elders, not
Yeah.
just my input, but they get to talk to the elders, and they get to ask questions, and if they get invited to a ceremony, that's up to them. I will not say no, you can't. No. you know
Yeah. Yeah. This question is from Arizona Raven. She says, "Is if the blue Kachina is water, could it have already happened?"
yes, it's already had. That was a great flood. That's a great
Wow.
flood. Because we have events that over. Look at the great event of fire. And then everybody say, "Well, what was that?" And they said, "Well, the atomic bomb." It's just like the Hopi said. There's going to be ashes that's going to fall, and to where it's going to kill everybody. And that's that radiation they're talking about, the Great Fire. I mean, when they set off that atomic bomb, it's just everything just burns out. I had a lady friend. She was in her 90s that survived the Hiroshima bombing, and she told me what she walked through when she was when she was getting ready to go to school when that bomb hit. She was on the second floor and she fell in. And I mean, this is what she told me. She said the house was 2 stories high and it collapsed. And she was in the bathroom getting ready to go to school, and she fell in and she was pinned underneath with a broken arm, and she was in so much pain that she was screaming. And then they finally found her and removed her, and they were telling everybody they need to go to the boat to get out of the area and go to the island. And so there was no transportation available. So they were walking through the city of, you know, Hiroshima. And she said that it was sad because there's people sitting on park benches, burnt to crisp. You know, people sitting on park. She see that animals and everything that it affected them. But she used to talk about it, and she even wrote a lot of notes about her memory on that, to where, you know, when she passed, I don't know whatever happened to it. I guess I could try to make contact with the family and see if they found her notes about what she wrote. But her name was Saeko, but we call her Miss Susie because nobody could say her Japanese name.
Yeah.
You know, and but she survived the Hiroshima bombing, and she was very, very super lady. I mean, she'd always call me over to. So I said, I got sushi. Okay, I'll be there.
That's cool. And I just want to say it's always an honor to have you on my show, Greg. Like I really look up to your teachings, and the audience loves it. I think when you come on. This one's from the dude, or he says on your website, there's more info on the Native American prophecy happening now. Is that agreed on by the majority? He says, or
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I just don't. I'm not. You know, even though I'm a lead elder of the 12 tribes, I my input on their visions, quests, their connection, whatever they do, you know, I I just honor it because I'm not there to say no, it's not right. No, I'm not there to judge them. We accept it, and normally because if you get a vision or if you get a some kind of a quest on what's happening, it's more in detail. Like I said, I'm just not even scratching the surface about what I talked about today.
yeah.
About the 3 eye atlas and what all they said and all that. I mean, they go real deep into it.
Yeah. Oh, I got a
But
really good question for you, Greg. I didn't mean to. I thought this would be really good. I just thought of this. So Thanksgiving's coming up, and it's literally right around the corner. Do the natives celebrate Thanksgiving just like we do? And like, what is their traditions for Thanksgiving? Like, back in our history, they made it sound like the pilgrims and the natives came together and had a feast and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it was really like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. And what's your take on the whole Thanksgiving thing, and what's the native perspective on it?
okay, I'm be a little smart butt here. Well, tradition on Thanksgiving is, I think it's you white people's turn to feed us natives.
It's hilarious.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Pueblos don't. Pueblos don't. Because where did the pilgrims land it? East Coast, right? Zuni
yeah,
is way all the way in Arizona area. But
yeah,
this is what's happening right now in Zuni. Okay. Thanksgiving this week is already started. We're having Shalako, which is our big winter celebration that's starting our winter solstice. We have a thing called Shalako that started. That's already started. It's been announced. the announcers already in the Kiva. We're going to have our second announcement come Tuesday. They're going to go into the Kiva. And on Saturday, day after Thanksgiving, is a big celebration. They'll come off the mountain. They'll dance all night. They'll eat. I mean,
I'd
and
love to be a part of that. I wish I could see that sometime. I would love to like experience that. That must be amazing to do. Like, like because it seems like everybody comes together. I wish that was the case in like regular society. You know what I mean? Like even in like this like spiritual UFO conspiracy community, I put out a post the other day because it's so divided, Greg. It's like everybody's arguing and like. You know what I mean? It's like this person has a beef with this person. I'm like, man, this is fucking crazy. Like, it's like, we're fighting against the system, a
yeah,
system that likes to control us and doesn't like us to succeed. And, and like, we can't even hold shit together in our own community. Like I'm talking about like the UFO or whatever community or,
well, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I like to go out to the reservation just to regroup because when I go out to a reservation, I find love, I find peace, I find happiness, and find community coming together to help each other. I mean, yeah, people may say, well, where did he's coming up with all kinds of, no, 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 no. You watch. If you go to Shalako, the whole tribe, the whole Zuni people were all lined up welcoming, the ancestors. Everybody has their own thing that they have to do to welcome the ancestors. There'll be a lot of spiritual feeding as well as physical feeding to the people. I mean, when I bring my guests to Shalako, I tell them, look, when we are asked to eat very little because every house we go to, we're going to be asked to eat and to be respectful. Eat a little bit and don't eat. I mean, I've had people go in there and wipe out about 4 or 5 tamales, a big old bowl of stew, and big old hunk of homemade bread and everything. And we go to the next one. I can't eat no more. What did I tell you?
what,
So but that
that's
was
another thing
good
I
back
want to ask
there.
you. Like, what's the food like? What do they, I know you said tamales, stew, and bread. Like, what do they usually have? It sounds good. It's not. I love food, by the way. I'm a big foodie. Like,
Well,
what's the feast
all
usually
kinds,
consist of?
all kinds of food, all kinds of food. Turkey, chicken. I mean, deer meat, rabbit, stew made out of mutton, homemade oven bread, tortillas. I call them flat biscuits, but tortillas. Fry bread. With your stew and tamales, pork tamale, chicken tamale, beef tamale, all kinds of. But our tamales are more different than the way people talk about with the Spanish tamales. Our tamales are much much different, and casseroles, you name it, they just
Oh,
cook
that's
everything,
good. Yeah.
and it'll be a big old table where 20 people can sit down, eat it all at once, and you'll be served. You will everything, coffee, soda pop, water, whatever. Well, just everything, everything. And again, it unites the people, and that's great thing about it. I mean, it's like we just had our harvest dance. People may be bickering and but we come to harvest dance, they had over 2,000 dancers.
Holy shit, that's a lot of
You know,
people.
that's
Is
right.
that
That's
from
right.
multiple tribes? Is that like multiple tribes get together, or is it
No,
just individual Zuni tribes?
that's just Zuni only. That's just Zuni only.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah,
realize Zuni
multiple
was
other
that
tribes
big.
are included.
Yeah, sorry,
Well,
I didn't
six
mean to.
thousand population, but six
Wow,
thousand
holy
but
shit!
yeah, but event like this when it happens, summer solstice, winter solstice, harvest dance, people come together. People come together to be spiritual, not religious, but spiritual. And when you see that people coming together, the energy is so positive and strong. It's a great blessing. And you can say, why can my people do that? Well, they can. you know. But it's and a lot of different tribes. They'll have something like this, but then some of them close out to the outsiders, where it's just the tribal members only, and you'll see that a lot. Like you go to Laguna or Hopi, when they have a feast, you
Yeah.
see they all get together and they all welcome you to come to my house and eat. Come to my house and eat, because they're sharing the blessings that they receive, and you're blessing them by coming into their house to eat.
Yeah.
So that's one strong thing about the native pueblos out in New Mexico area. All the tribes are like that. All the pueblos are like that. You go to San Domingo Feast, Hopi Feast. You go to Zuni. You go to San Felipe and all these kind of tribes that have a feast going on. I mean, it is beyond imagination. And if you're an outsider first time checking it out, you're gonna say, "Wow, why can't I can't even get my family to be peaceful like this and celebrate?" You know, but
Yeah.
like I said, it may be going on, things may be going on in the community and all that, but when it comes to an event, a traditional spiritual event, everybody comes together. Everybody, everybody has a role. Me being from the Frog clan on my matrilineal side to the Turkey clan on my patrilineal side, I got responsibilities. If my patrilineal is sponsoring, I have to go help out. My matrilineal, clanship doing it, I have to go help, you know, and it's all there. And it's amazing, when people come and watch. But you know, it just it is what it is. Again, like I say, I mean, until you experience it. And one of my one of my tours that I want to do on Galaxy Tour, I want to do is I want to do it first weekend of August. That's when in Gallup, New Mexico, they have an intertribal ceremony. You can Google it and see what all they do. They have tribes from Canada, Mexico, America that come together and celebrate for 7 days straight. You see powwows going on. You see Yebiche dance going. You see dance going. Social dance. Traditional dance, healing ceremonies, all kinds of things going on. To where you go say, "Wow!" And it's all intertribal ceremonies, and you are not looked at as your race or anything, whether you're white, black, or brown. They're not going to look at you as, "Hey, you no, you're a brother." And it's different when you go over there and people welcome you and talk to you. Hey brother, and if they're older than you are, they come up to you. Hey, young little brother, how you doing? Come on to my house, or come on to over here. Let me feed you.
Yeah.
Come celebrate this with us. Come celebrate this food with us. And it's you're gonna say, "Wow, I am ready." But it's an experience.
Wow. It sounds like a real awesome time. It's cool. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say we've been going a little bit over an hour. Is there anything else you want to cover or promote, Greg, before we take
Well,
off? Thank you for doing this on short notice. When you popped up in my chat yesterday, I just thought it would be a good idea to have you on, because we haven't done a show in a while, and you were just really nice about it. You said yeah, and I was able to put it together last minute, and it ended up being a really good show. I think it was good for the Thanksgiving right around the corner too. People see this and it ended up being really good. Yeah.
well, again, this title, I like it because it really brings it out, and it made me think about what do I need to do, and being with the elders. Yeah, we can do about the physical part about being self-sufficient. Well, let's get into the spiritual part, but being self-sufficient, and because we can do a lot of self-healing, because we're mind, body, and soul. And you go to the doctor, all they worried about is healing the body, not the soul. But if you heal the soul, the body can reach and allow the body to control allow the soul to control the body. The body can rejuvenate and reheal itself. I don't care what kind it is, it's going to heal itself. So this is what we got going on at One Nation Tribal Alliance. Love expanded. So, you know, get a hold of me if you need anything that we can do for you. And we're still doing a lot of cleansing and protection. New Year's coming up. If you want to start out your new year by cleansing your home or business or land, just give us a holler and we can do a virtual remote cleansing and protecting. So just let us know and sign up on One Nation Tribal Alliance page. And again, we're in any kind of healing, give me a holler. If you're close by, you can come over or whatever we can do to do a ceremony for you. Okay? So,
sounds good. All right,
thank
guys.
You for everything, Rob.
Yeah, thanks. And that's it for me today, guys. I might do a show later today. I'm not sure, but yeah. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And thanks, Greg. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.